I am here today to share my story through the war, genocide, and my work as an organization, Ponheary Ly Foundation. We help Cambodian children to go to school. We know that education is the answer to all the problem of the poverty. And through the education, Cambodians build their life from the cruelty of its past. I was born in 1962 in an educated family. My father was a teacher. I went to school about 3 kilometers, to school nearby my house, about 3 kilometers from the town. At that time, I was very happy to go to school, and my father was a teacher. I was a good student because my father was a teacher. Yeah, okay, thank you. Sorry. With the education that I got from that time, only 7 years and a half before the war, before the war started. In 1970, the war came into Cambodia. This is the influence of the Vietnamese War between the northern Vietnam, supported by American capitalism, and southern Vietnam, supported by communist China. The Vietnamese from the north made the Ho Chi Minh Trail across our border, Cambodian border, to fight against the southern Vietnam. That time, the King Norodom Sihanouk, he went abroad to negotiate with the capitalist bloc and the communist bloc to stop the war in our country. But Americans helped the General Lon Nol to make a coup d'etat to overthrow the king when he was abroad. The northern Vietnamese, they are communist. They joined with the Khmer Rouge political party. At that time, Khmer Rouge political party was only a tiny political party, but this one, communist. They joined together. They convinced the people in Cambodia to fight against the government of the coup d'etat. People in Cambodia love the king. They want the king back to the country, so they participated with Khmer Rouge. Then the war started. During the war, US bomber planes dropped the bombs everywhere in the whole country. From my house, I saw the bomb in the Angkor complex, such as in Angkor Wat area and other temples area. The Khmer Rouge and Viet Cong, the Vietnamese from the north, told that whoever could kill a teacher could get paid at that time 3,000 real, which was about 1,000 US dollar, the life of a teacher. Or a teacher's wife, 1,500 real, or a teacher's child, 500 real. So we live in fear every day. We escaped to live with our uncle in the countryside in another province where no one knew us. After living with our uncle for several months, the war became more and more serious. Many roads were cut. And then our father worried about we could get stuck in the countryside, no school. So he brought us back to the town, to Siem Reap town. However, we could not go back to our house, which is about 3 kilometers from the city, because the city at that time was very small, and the place where we have our house, it was the battlefield. When we were children, we didn't understand about the war. I said that I was born in 1962, so the war started when I was 8 years old. When I saw the bomber plane or the plane came across and then they shot at night the bullet down from the sky, the light beautiful, I applauded. I didn't understand, but our parents worry a lot. Living in the town, we were very happy to go back to the school again. But not safe in the town, because the town only 2 kilometers by 2.5 or 2.8 kilometers, small, and around that, the battlefield. The Khmerus shot the mortar shells from the Angkor complex into the town, because in Angkor complex, we have one mountain with a temple on the top, and it's easy to see the town, very easy. They shot 1 or 2 or 3 shells in the town, and then the air fighter went up there, and the Khmerus ran away, and they shot to the temples from the sky. If you go to Siem Reap, go to see the temples, such as Angkor Wat, or the mountain where we have the temples from 9th century, you see a lot of bullet holes from there. And in the town, almost every day, the grenades exploded. Sometimes in the markets, sometimes in the cinema. Sometimes the mortar shells fell in front of my school. Once, it fell in front of my class. But we live in the war. We know very well how to protect. When we hear like the sound of the mortar shell came very near, like, we slide under the desk. So we were very happy to be in school, but we fear every day. The salary of my father was not enough for our life. So he opened a bookshop for my mother to work. Even though my mother, she went to school only 1 year for her life, but she owned a bookshop because my mother, she loved reading since she got married to my father, because my father liked bringing books home very often for my mother to read. So before the genocide, I went to school for 7 years and a half. The genocide started in 17 April 1975. At that point, the Vietnamese army withdrew from our country. As I mentioned at the beginning, Viet Cong, they went back home and leave the power to the Khmerus alone. So from 1975 to 1979, the brutal regime of Khmerus ruled Cambodia under the leadership of Pol Pot Do you know Pol Pot mean? Pol Pot is not his real name. His real name is Salotso. Pol Pot is from the word P-O-L, politic, P-O-T, potential. So Pol Pot only his nickname, but everybody know his nickname, not his real name. So under the leadership of this man, Khmer Rouge wants Cambodia to be a society where no rich, no poor, but everybody live the same and live off the ground. They put an end to education, universities, private property, and entertainment. Schools, universities, public services were shut down. The Khmer Rouge believed that the educated people were the enemy. So these people were arrested, tortured, and murdered. Many members of my family who live in the other area of the country were murdered or died from starvation. And my youngest sister died in my arms at just 5 months old. Before living in the prison camp, once we lived in the, during the whole time in the genocide, almost 4 years, we lived once in a prison camp, but in the prison camp or outside the prison camp or the whole time of the genocide, we suffered a lot. Many people suffered too much and died, like nothing to eat. And before living in the prison camp, I was separated from my family to work with the other children, like in the children team. And this team moved very often from one place to one place. Once, not once, but many times, I escaped to the village to see my mother at night time. And when a soldier found it, I was tied against the tree where a lot of red ants. You cannot imagine how the red ants came toward to me for about 2 or 3 minutes only, but it came to me. I always calm myself down when I talk about the red ants biting me, that it's fair for the red ants because I ate them alive too. It's crazy. And once I escaped from the children camp at the night time to see my mother. And then when I went back to the place, I didn't see anybody there at about maybe 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't see anybody there. But I met 2 other girls who escaped home also, the same as I did. And then we were told the direction to join the group. The other 2 girls, they were bigger than me. They walked faster than me. They didn't wait for me. So I was slow, smaller than the others, and then skinny. And also I stopped at home again to say bye-bye to my mother because I don't know where to go. And then when I got to the spot where I supposed to meet the group, I didn't see anybody there. I met a soldier, He told me that the two girls who were right there before me were tied behind two horses and dragged behind two horses. I was very scared. I thought if I could be there on time, the same as the other two girls, I could be dragged and killed by the horse too. Then I had to stay there with that soldier. About 2 days later, I worked with the soldier, prepare the food for the pigs. And then I had to eat with the pigs. I could not take for myself. I took the food to the pigs and sit there and eat with them. Then, 2 days after, I saw many people passing by the small dirt road. Those people, they were we call the new family. That means the people from the town, the people that the Khmer chased from the town to the countryside, including my family too. I saw my father, my mother, my sisters, and brother. But I didn't dare to go to meet them. But at evening, I could not hold the question. I asked the soldier where those people go. The soldier told me that if I wanted to join them, I could. And he showed me the way to go in the morning. So early in the morning, maybe about 5 o'clock in the morning, I ran through that path to get to my family. The place was the former pagoda that they used to be the prison camp. And when I got there, my mother told me that I was too late to see my father because my father was killed that night. That the prison camp we lived in. There, the soldier forced us to work very, very hard and treat us worse than the animal. We could not have clean water to drink, not enough food to eat. So we ate whatever we could be alive. I ate cricket, worm, grasshopper, millipede, scorpion, frog, any leaves from the forest to be alive. There, I saw many people die from starvation in the morning. Like 2 weeks after our arrival to that place, we started to bury dead people. In the morning, the soldier arrived and then asked us, we have to have the meeting in the morning before going to the rice field. They asked how many dead today. If you say 5 dead, okay, you alone buried them. If you say 10, okay, 2. If you say 15, they count the dead. There, I saw a boy was burned by the soldiers who killed our fathers. You know why? For what reason? My father was killed because he was a teacher, but that little boy, about 10 years old, was burned alive. Because we were very hungry. And we lived in the limit place. And the boy saw a frog, the little frog. and want to catch that frog. At that time, at lunchtime, he ran behind the frog, tried to catch the frog. The soldiers saw him and asked him, why you are here? I'm sorry. He asked him why you are here. The boy said that I want to catch a frog. The soldier said that if you could have a frog, what would you do with a frog? He said, I would eat it. And asked, raw or cooked? The little boy said that cooked. So instead of the frog was cooked, the boy was cooked by the soldier. He was tied against the coconut tree and burned him alive under the eyes of many people, even his mother. But all of us pretended nothing happened. Because if we cry, we could be burned also. Everybody wanted to be alive. It's very sad. You cannot imagine if you fall in that case. One night, when we were asleep, and then we heard a boy screamed. That boy slept about maybe 2 meters or 3 meters far from me. The soldiers came into the place where we slept and opened his body to take the heart and the thing, the liver or something, out from the body and cook in the kitchen nearby. And they ate and they laughed. They were not human. They were inhuman. They're very, very cruel. Many other things happened in that place. But we were in the prison camp only 6 weeks. The end of 6 weeks, the soldiers came to the place where we slept. They came to talk to my mom and ask my mom why my mom's children stay alive, not die. Because my mom, she made the fire to warm us. And all of us, we ate whatever to be alive. Then they asked like that. My mom said, I don't know. And they beat my mom with a horse whip. 2 soldiers. Another soldier took a piece of wood that my mom made the fire to warm us, with the fire at the end, and burned my mom's arm, burned my mom. My mom screamed of pain. But all of us, her children, and the other people who sleep in the same place. One of my teacher's family, she has 5 children. My teacher already killed with my father, but his wife stayed. One of the children got a piece of manioc. You know manioc? Or some people call cassava, like the root that we can eat. That little boy, about 2 years and a half, he had a piece of that in the pocket. And then he took it out in front of the soldiers. Soldier asked him where he got that piece of cassava from, who gave him, and he told that his mom gave him. Because sometime at night time, we sneak out and stole something that we grow. And the whole family disappeared since that day. We could not find them anymore. I thought maybe they could be alive, but after the Khmerus fall over, we didn't see them neither. No. So this is some of many bad memories, bad thing in my memories. And if you want to listen every event, I need to stand here maybe 1 month or more than 1 month to tell you about each event. So after 6 weeks, the Khmerus tortured my mom, and in the morning, they let us to be free for 2 days. And left that place, we could build our hut in each family in one place. That day, we went to the village where we had the old village over there, and the people in the old village to bag some rice, something. And me, I got some, and my second sister, she got some. And when we came back to our family, at that time my mom, she could not move. We got some traditional medicine. We cut the trees and then boil it for my mom to drink, to be recovered. I remember include the touch-me-not plant. That one maybe had some antibiotic to cure that. Then we got the rice back to the place, and we gave to our youngest sister to eat. We didn't think about ourselves. We just gave her eating. And she just opened her mouth swallow, especially the flat rice. We give and give. And then too much in the stomach, and she died. We both, me and my sister, feel like if we were selfish, we could not kill our sister. We are the murderer. After exactly 3 years, 8 months and 20 days, the Khmerus lost power. But almost 3 million people were killed or died from starvation out of more than 7 million people in Cambodia. Vietnamese army came into the country again to force the Khmerus from the power. And I could tell you that if Vietnamese came 1 week or 2 weeks later, I could not stay here. I could not stand here talking to you because my family already in the list to go to the kiln. You know kiln? Like the stove to cook the bread. And they build at the same level of the truck. And they fill the truck with the people, alive people. We climb on that, and they carry us to that place. And then they pour in the fire alive. I was already in the list. My mom, the whole family. But Vietnamese came, and then Khmerus, they stopped that thing, and then we could be back to the city again. By then, I was 16 years old. I had lost my father, my youngest sister, 5 months old. I had lost my uncles, my cousins, my aunties who live in another part of the country. My auntie, she was killed with her husband together when I met my grandmother, talking about my auntie. Very sad for her life. Okay. So after the genocide, we worked very hard to rebuild our life. My mother was now raising 6 children alone. It's very hard for her, especially without my father. And I helped my mother also to work in the market to sell the vegetable from a mat on the ground. It was a struggle for us, but we knew we would have to struggle to make our life better. And I knew that I would need to learn, so I became a teacher. Just like my father, I went to the teacher training school in 1983 to be trained as a primary school teacher for 3 months. Even though I had only 7 years and a half of education, I became a primary school teacher. Then I really wanted to be a teacher in high school, the same as my father. So I went to Phnom Penh in 1987, to pass an exam to go to the university to study Russian language by using my primary school teacher certificate. I got a scholarship to go to Russia for 1 year. There, I was trained as the high school teacher. But when I came back to Cambodia in 1991, I forgot to tell you, when I was a primary school teacher, I studied French and English secretly, because at that time it was a community time. We could learn only Vietnamese and Russian language. No English school, no French school to attend. But 1991, when I came back to the school, Vietnamese and Russian influence was over. When United Nations peacekeeper came into our country, 1990, and Vietnamese army withdrew from our country at that time. So in the school, we don't need any more Russian or Vietnamese languages. So I showed that I know English and French. And the principal asked me to choose which one I want to teach. So I chose English. So I became an English teacher in high school with the diploma from Russia as the Russian language teacher. It's like crazy. And then when the French Cultural Center opened in Siem Reap in 1994, I went there, and then I was offered a job over there to teach French to the beginners. And then I got a scholarship from French government to go to France for 2 months to be trained as a French language teacher. And then, when Cambodia opened up to the tourists again, we had many people coming to visit our country. So I became a tour guide, 1995. But I didn't work as a tour guide as soon as I got the certificate of tour guide, because I still love, but now I still love the same, like teaching. So I stay working as a teacher in French Cultural Center and also in high school in Siem Reap City. Then, 1999, we saw many people came to visit and need the place to stay. So our family started to build a guest house. Now it's called Seven Candle Guest House. So as I spoke many languages, I could take people to visit temples for many years. So during this time, I noticed more and more children coming to the temples to sell postcards and other items. And tourists found the children so cute. They like taking the photo of the children or with the children, giving the money to the children, buy souvenirs from the hands of the children. Unfortunately, this just encouraged the parents to send their children to the temples to beg or sell souvenirs to tourists instead of sending them to school. I was concerned with what I see, but it gave me an idea. What? If those tourists could give the money to support the children in school instead. So in 2001, I started to help one girl, then 40 children, then more than 100 children. By 2005, I got over 200 children. My family and me love to go to the village to hand uniforms, supplies to the children. Even primary school or school in Cambodia is free. But the cost of this thing is too much for many families in the villages. So not many children or not many people graduate from primary school. Or not many children from the village go to the high school. 2005, the end of 2005, I received a booking from a woman named Lori Carson from Austin, Texas. Then our life changed forever. Lori loved the children in Cambodia. She wanted to help, but she didn't know how. I showed her my school project. And then she asked me, Ponheary, the children in this school look very poor. How many students do you have in your program? I told her that there are too many people for me to help. And she asked me, if you could have a lot of money, what would you do? I told her that I would help all these disadvantaged children in Cambodia to go to school. Because my father was a teacher. I was a teacher. And we know that education is very important. And with education, the children can help their family and can build their life. So Lori returned to Austin, Texas. Just 1 month later, Ponheary Ly Foundation founded in US. Since then, the foundation has grown bigger than I have ever expected. This year, we have about 2,800 students to stay in school, include the students in primary school, high school, and university. So after nearly 40 years of civil conflicts and political unrest, Cambodia still has many challenges. Approximately 2/3 of our population is under 30 years of age. Genocide, poverty has taken the life of many older Cambodian people. So we know education is very important. Because of that, we do. The number of the students is a lot compared with me alone, but it's not about the number of the children we have, but it is about what is the education means to Cambodia. Education means the opportunity and new life. So, education is needed to create economic opportunity for youth. Education is needed to develop the future Cambodian leaders. The most educated people were murdered by the Khmer Rouge. Because the Khmer Rouge, they fear the educated people. They were afraid of losing power because they know that education is powerful. So do we. Because of that, our foundation works so hard to make education accessible. We provide scholarship to the student. We buy supplies, uniforms, bicycle for the student who live far from school, or the student have to go to the high school which is far from the village. We sponsor them to go to university because they need to go so far so that they can rebuild our country. We build the dormitory for the students who live very far and they are very good, they need to go far. I can tell you that the rural area, about 5% of people graduate from high school because no high school nearby. So if we could have the place for the safe place for them to live, healthy food for them to eat, and the support of the community, these students could continue their education until they get to their dream. Talking about the dream, at the beginning, I dreamed for them because the people in the village, they don't know about education. I dream for them and lead them. I go step by step, slow, start from primary school. But now, they got to the high school level. They have their own brain. They dream. Do you know how many people dream? Before, only me dream for them. And now, many of them dream. Before, they walk behind me. But now, at the beginning, I thought, when they get that spot, maybe I don't have to dream, I could relax. But in fact, not. I have to run behind their dream. Before they walk behind me, and now I run behind them. Teacher Ponheary, we want to do this, we want to do that. Could you give me the idea for this, for that? You know, so, oh my God, it's like very, but I'm very happy to do that. Even sometimes I got, oh my God, stress. How could I do? I need more money for them. When they come like, oh, Teacher Ponheary, I got the good score for the high school graduate. I want to go to the medical school. Medical school is a lot of money. How could I find that money? Well, you know, now in the university we have 3 doctors. 1 in year 4, 2 in year 3. We have engineer, we have architect, we have the future teachers, we have 2 nurses just finished already, many in many subjects in the university, and then we will have maybe lawyer, journalist. One girl, she wanted to be a journalist. She said that she wants to she wants to give the information about her village to the world. And she's from the very, very poor, I can tell you, extremely poor area. And she's the first girl or the first child from that village got to that spot, year 2 in the university. So the students of Cambodia today are writing the next chapter of Cambodia's history. This makes us very proud. This is why we need to invest in them. So nothing in my life would have predicted that I would be standing here talking to you. I was not raised with wealth or status or resources. I grew up in the Khmer Rouge camp during the Cambodian genocide. My family was thrown into poverty for over a decade. But in spite of this, or maybe because of it, I was raised with the skill I needed to survive. I was raised with a belief in the power of education. I don't tell you my story to get sympathy. I don't tell my story to show Cambodia in the negative light. I simply tell my story because I am an example of what is possible when people are provided with an education. Although our life may seem very different, but I would like you to know that we have very much in common. All of us here today have benefited from an education. All of us here today understand the link between health and well-being and success in other areas of life. Because communities worldwide are only as strong as the health of their people, I urge you to go forward with purpose and use your intellect, your education, your talents to improve the condition of others. Because the world is full of challenges, and we need strong, smart, confident young men and women to lead our world into the bright future. But we must all work together to make the world as it is, and the world as it should be one and the same. All of us here today are an important part of closing this gap. I thank you for listening to my story.
As you have went through the experience, yes, then how do you heal yourself?
After the people died a lot, I feel very guilty for them. I feel very guilty for my country, and that thing, like the ghost, coming to my brain all the time. And when I talk a lot about this, sometimes I got the nightmare at night time. Yes, it's not easy. It's not easy for me. But we try to live in nowadays, in today, we try all our best to live that. work hard when we have a lot of things to do for our country, and then we feel okay. But if I don't do anything for the country, for rebuild the country from the cruelty work of the Khmer's, I cannot be alive. I would hang myself in a tree. Because of that, I try to make myself busy for doing some charity. Yeah, for my life and for the life of the others. This is my soul, what I think. Yeah.
My country is currently going through a very cruel situation as well. We have a dictator, in short words, and we're trying to overthrow him. But in here, and I really appreciate your story. For sure, it's nothing like a war yet. I hope it doesn't get any worse than that. But my question is also focused towards education. In your case, how were you able to continue the program? As in, sometimes it doesn't only take the funds. I mean, what other help did you get? How did you manage to make the program or your foundation grow so big throughout all these years? I also am interested because I funded a program over back home, but I wasn't really capable to continue just because of the situation and because of other factors as well. But I would really like to know, how were you able to continue and make it grow?
As I said, that everybody here is everybody is very important to build the world together. So we can share about that. Finding the money, looking for the money, it's difficult and it's easy. I am a tour guide. I worked with many people from all over the world who speak French and English. I see them in the eyes, they love children or not. When they see the children in the temples running around. So when I see them very kind with the children, I told them not to buy from the children, not to give the children the money, and I show them the program. If they don't show that they are kind with the children, just come for visiting temples, I don't dare to tell that. And when I met Lori Carson, she asked me the question, the same. I answered like that, and she said that one day, if everybody know that giving the money to the children is bad and no one saw that, and what could I do? I told her that I didn't dare to ask, so maybe I get bankrupt. I told her like that. Before she left, she said that, Ponheary, I appreciate your work. I don't allow you to have bankrupt. Lori Carson, she went back to Austin, Texas. She sold her property, quit her job, and came to Cambodia to work full-time with me for helping the foundation. She's a good one to find the money too. But the children themselves find the money through Lori. And all of us, our team, the staff in the office, and the teachers who participate with us, who join with us, those people find the money through Lori. That means the money they drop to us, we use in the good case and get the good result, and feedback to the donor and feedback to everybody, and then they want to help. Even we grow and grow and grow, the more we grow, the more we need money. But we grow. At the beginning, 2001 to 2005, when the children finished primary school, I let them go. But since I got Lori, we continue and go up to university. And now we get to the universities program that costs a lot of money. So we had that problem too. That means we cannot get all of our high school graduates to go to the university. Like this year, for example, we had the money only for 21 students for the university because a lot of competition. Our students could, not many of them, could get a scholarship from the government. When the children get a scholarship from the government, we just finance them only the living expense. But now we pay also for the school. So we get only 20 for this year. So we need more money for getting 100 students to get to university per year. So one student for 4 years, it costs about 5,000 US dollar or 6,000 US dollar, depend on which university they attend. But we keep giving the report to the people. And also, as I'm a tour guide, I meet many people. I can spread the news in the whole world. And also I have the guest house. When the people stay in the guest house, they see our activities. The students came to our office because we have an office on the ground floor. And then the people pass by, and then they see many students, and then they see our program we put in the room. So they ask us about that. And sometimes I give the presentation in the house to tell about the same story as I tell you today. So they're interested, and then some of our guests become the big donor too. Like one sponsor all food, like breakfast program, lunch program, and food drop. And also the very, very poor family who send the kids regularly to school, no absent in school. We have the family food drop every month too. And also, when sometimes we had a party, we cook a lot and we invite the whole village to come so that we can say thank you all parents to participate with us for educate their children, and ask them for allow us to love their children too. And when they agree with that, and then we said, okay, now we split the time. From 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock, these children belong to me, not belong to you. And after 12 o'clock to 6 in the morning, belong to you. But you have to take care. You have to make sure when they come to be my student in the morning, they have to know the thing from school. That the result we have, and the people who sponsor, who give the money, they see the good result, they are very happy to give the money. I hope some of you can help in that case. You can do in your country, if your country had the same problem as mine, or you can come to my country and help Cambodia. Because now Cambodia needs to be rebuilt by the young people, because the old people die already. And I talked with Kim during the dinner last night about About the other country, like in Germany, had a war also in the other country, Japan, Korea, China, they had a problem also, and the war also, but after the war, they built their country fast. Do you know why? Why Cambodia very slow? Before the war, Cambodia is better than the other country around. But after the war, Cambodia very slow. Because when there is a war in Russia or in Germany or in France, they didn't select the educated people to put in one spot and kill all. They just bomb, fighting, shooting, some rich people, some they could escape abroad to be safe and then continue their study. And when the war finished, they came back to their country and rebuild their country. But Cambodia, they closed the border. Even French or American know that we had genocide inside the country. I met a journalist who stayed along the border to spy, and then he told me that he get that news to France too, but no one did anything. They ignored it until Vietnamese came to chase Khmer Rouge out from the power. So Khmer Rouge, they selected all educated people and killed all. Doctors, nurses, teachers, professors, lawyer, whoever who had the knowledge, killed. And I can tell you that during the Khmer Rouge time, if you wear the glass like this, you could be killed faster. They didn't understand you, like you need the glasses for reading or for seeing things in front of you. You know, so we are slow, I'm sorry. So we need a lot of people who has education, skill, talents, good heart especially, coming, helping us.